I say either give it back or shut the fuck up. AOC says so many people in this country hate women. Oh, geez. Even the guy at the party who pulls out a guitar is like, way to ruin the fun. Congressman Jamal Bowman says capitalism is slavery by another name. No, it's not. It's the thing that has given more people more prosperity and hope than any other system, flawed though it surely is. Say something about America that you like, because honestly, I don't know why the people who are fighting for this country so hard even want it.
Bill Maher went straight at Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and honestly, the contradiction he highlights is getting harder to ignore. The argument is that whenever Republicans take power, the country is often described as broken, failing, and beyond repair. Every issue becomes a crisis, every moment framed as collapse. But when Democrats are in charge, the tone seems to shift just as quickly, and Maher's point is simple. That's not consistency, that's selective outrage shaped by politics, and once you start noticing it, it becomes difficult to unsee. So if you're looking for sharp, straightforward political analysis, make sure to...
More pertinent question to ask about the word woke might be, why in such a short time has it gone from a rallying cry to a pejorative? If the word only made you think of rational, deserved causes like teaching a less whitewashed version of American history, AOC would still want to own it. But it's a joke, because it makes you think of people who wake up offended and take orders from Twitter, and their oversensitivity has grown tiresome. That said,
Bill Maher also directly questions Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's past alignment with so-called woke politics, pointing out that history hasn't just disappeared. Figures like AOC once embraced that label openly when it carried cultural weight, media praise, and a sense of influence, complete with slogans, symbolism, and a carefully shaped public image. But now that the term doesn't resonate the same way with everyday voters, there seems to be a noticeable shift in tone, with more caution and a softer association. And according to Maher's view, this doesn't look like a deep change in beliefs so much as a rebranding effort. A cleaned-up version of the same message now that the earlier approach...
That said, I would love to have AOC on this show. There's so much to admire there. I was one of her first supporters for the Green New Deal idea. But that will probably never happen, because Democrats don't go anywhere these days where they're not pre-adored. And that's my last bit of advice to them. Go where the Amen corner isn't. Do Fox News. Be brave. Come here. Go everywhere. Winning is about expanding.
Bill Maher has made it clear that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is welcome to come on his show and defend her positions at any time. But that's where the challenge comes in, because stepping onto Maher's stage isn't the same as entering a friendly, controlled setting where questions stay gentle and the framing works in your favor. Maher pushes back, follows up, and doesn't simply accept polished talking points at face value, and for that reason, critics argue she might be hesitant to accept such an invitation, since once the supportive environment is gone, the argument has to stand on its own, and without that cushion, the message can sometimes appear much weaker than it did inside a more comfortable bubble.
You don't really love America if you hate half the people in it. And also if you hate a lot of the things that everybody always loved about it. There's an oft-repeated moment in political debates where the moderator says to the two candidates, say something nice about your opponent.
Can you say one nice thing, something that you admire about your opponent?
Say something nice about Representative Deal.
Tell us something that you admire about your opponent.
Can you say something nice about your opponent?
It's always so awkward because the candidates just spent an hour describing how America would be an out-of-control dumpster fire if the other guy won the election.
That's not really Bill Maher's main argument. At its core, he's suggesting that for figures like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the tone often doesn't come across as grounded in a balanced view of America. Instead, it can feel like the country is portrayed as completely broken the moment the opposing party takes power, not flawed or struggling, but deeply damaged and beyond repair, and from there, everything else follows, with every policy treated as proof of failure, every debate turning into controversy, and every headline reinforcing the same bleak narrative, which raises the central concern. This starts to look less like thoughtful criticism and more like a reaction driven by politics rather than a consistent, good faith assessment.
Okay, I say the next time we have debates, the moderator needs to frame that question a little differently, as say something about America that you like, because honestly, I don't know why the people who are fighting for this country so hard even want it anymore. Republicans, I'll start with you. I really want to know. That is what's so odd about this time that we're living in. For all the talk about fighting for the soul of America, nobody seems to like it very much. Too many liberals give the impression that to them, America is just a big, ugh. The red, white, and ew.
Bill Maher is tapping into a broader frustration about perceived double standards in political discourse, arguing that the way issues are framed often depends more on who is in power than on the issues themselves. Critics of the current administration under Joe Biden say concerns like inflation, crime, border security, and foreign policy were sometimes downplayed or given more charitable interpretations, while the return of Donald Trump to the spotlight tends to trigger the opposite reaction, where similar problems are portrayed as signs of systemic failure. And Maher's point is that this inconsistency reflects a deeper problem in modern politics. Many people form conclusions based on partisan alignment first, then interpret evidence through that lens, turning analysis into a form of loyalty signaling rather than an objective.
Country that started out bad and will always be bad, founded on an unrelenting history of sucking and unable to change. But we have changed a lot. Democrat Cori Bush tweeted, "This land is stolen land and black people still aren't free." And this was on the 4th of July. Really? Not that I give a shit about the 4th of July. I've never been a rah-rah guy. But I am a perspective guy. And that's what too much of the left has lost.
Bill Maher's critique of what he calls an outrage mentality resonates with many because it reflects something people feel they can recognize in real time, where anger stops appearing as a reaction to specific events and instead begins to look like a constant posture or default mindset. In this view, even when conditions improve, the narrative often shifts rather than resolves, with attention moving to a new issue or crisis, which Maher argues creates the impression that the goal is less about solving problems and more about sustaining a sense of urgency, moral signaling, or group identity, though supporters of activism would counter that continued pressure is necessary to ensure progress isn't reversed, making this less about performative outrage and more about maintaining accountability over time.